Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Surface Chemistry next part peptidization. We have already discussed regarding the peptidization process. I'm going to revise once and will continue. It is the process of converting freshly prepared precipitate into colloidal solution by mixing it with dispersion medium in presence of an electrolyte. This whole process is called as peptidization. What exactly happens in peptidization, explain here, but remembering the part of this definition is very important because it can be asked for 2 marks. Here we have Ag2S3. Generally, when you consider in complexes like this Ag2S3, which are surround Ag2S3 surrounded by sulfur ions, when this happens, the whole molecule become unstable, and Ag2S3, which is present at the center, is going to have high repulsion with respect to these sulfur ions which are surrounded. And whole molecule, if you add in any dispersion medium, it is going to break whole complex due to instability. That I have written here, unstable molecule, and it breaks into small particles and converted to colloidal range. When breaking of these whole complex molecule happens, this whole Ag2S3 will be coming under the colloidal range 1 to 1000 nanometer. Colloidal range 1 to 1000 nanometer. And such type of process which has happened here is going to be referred as peptidization process. Next, we will be starting with purification of colloids. The process of reducing the electrolyte and solubility of impurities. We are going to remove the impurities and we are going to reduce the electrolyte. That whole process will be carried out, considered as purification of colloids. There are mainly certain methods we need to understand in purification. Very first method, it is called as dialysis process. In dialysis process, we will be considering one parchment bag. This is a cotton bag which is considered as parchment bag. In this parchment bag, we will be filling with the crystalloids as well as salt particles. Okay, out of these two, only certain colloidal range particles must be come out of this parchment bag. In order to perform that reaction, we will be passing the water from water inlet, and water outlet is also present. In water outlet, along with the water, crystalloids which are present here in a smaller size, they will be coming out of this one because smaller sized particles itself will be under the colloidal range 1 to 1000 nanometer. With the help of these pores which are present in a parchment bag, they will be coming out along with the water. So we can consider water and crystalloids are coming out of the whole system. Okay, see here, removal of suitable impurities or excess of electrolyte from the colloidal solution using suitable membrane. This is parchment bag with a suitable membrane filled with salt particles as well as crystalloids. We do not want impurities to be coming out. We want only crystalloids of the range 1 to 1000 nanometer must be come out, and that crystalloids will be combining with water and they will be taken away. So this whole process which is called as dialysis, it can also be asked for 2 marks. In the next session we have electrodialysis. Dialysis, we have seen with a suitable membrane, crystalloids are coming out of it. Similarly, whole mechanism is going to be same. Dialysis is going to be done, but the thing is in presence of electricity. That is the reason why it is called as electrodialysis. Similar parchment membrane bag we have here, and we have salt particles present in it, and also we have certain crystalloids present in it. So we are going to pass the water here, and it is referred to be water outlet. Initially the process was carried out at a slow rate. Whenever we pass electricity, as the ions we have taken, in the sense sodium chloride we have taken, it will be having NaCl, and NaCl molecules, they are going to be ionized, and this Na plus will be going towards the charge, negatively charged cathode, and negatively charged anode. Here Cl minus is ions which are present, they will be moving towards the cathode. So salt particles will be remained as it is in the parchment bag, only the crystalloids will be coming out of it. So cations moves to cathode. I'll write here, don't get confused. Cations moves towards cathode. Anions moves towards anode. Anode positively charged, cathode negatively charged. Towards cathode, cations goes because it is negatively charged. Like this, electrodialysis process will be carried out. Now we are going to perform ultrafiltration. You all know filtration process. Filtration process is nothing but we are going to filter it with one medium. That is, I must have written here definition part, that is removing colloidal particles from dispersion medium or electrolytes or impurities using the filter paper. But we here in this case we are not going to make use of normal filter paper. We are going to make use of special type of filter paper. What is that speciality in the filter paper? We have to consider here, filter paper should be dipped in a colloidal solution. Filter paper must be dipped in a colloidal solution. What is that colloidal solution we must take here? The colloidal solution we are going to make use here, it is 4% nitrocellulose. 4% nitrocellulose taken in alcohol and ether, and this is the colloidal solution we are going to considering in which filter paper is going to be dipped. Once the filter paper is dipped in that one, next it is going to be passed over the formaldehyde. Once we passed it on a formaldehyde, we are going to reduce the pore size of the filter paper. We are going to reduce pore size of filter paper, and it is going to allow this filter paper, after drying it, it is going to allow the particles of colloidal range to pass over. After drying it, we will be adding a colloidal particles are only left on this filter paper, and all the impurities which have higher size than that of colloids are going to be passed over with a filter paper, and they are going to be collected as a dispersion medium and dispersed phase. This is nothing but ultrafiltration process. Now let us understand regarding certain properties of colloidal solutions. We supposed to understand regarding colligative properties. Colligative properties are those particularly exhibited by solutions as well as colloidal solutions or colloids. So we can consider higher sized molecules, less number of particles if you have, colligative property is less. In the sense, meaning of telling this one, higher sized molecules, in the sense colloidal solutions will be lying 1 to 1000 nanometer, 1 to 1000 nanometer. If this range is exceeding, then size is going to be increased. So higher sized molecules if you consider, less particles will be there. See here, these are big, two particles are present. If you just break them into, then these will be forming so many particles. Okay, when they break up like this, the so many particles which are obtained will have smaller size. Smaller the size, colligative property will be more. Bigger the size, colligative property will be less. So for colligative properties to be holds good, colligative properties you have studied. Elevation in boiling point, freezing point, all those things you have studied. Similarly, here also we have some certain characteristics properties for these colloidal solutions. They are itself are considered as colligative properties. We will understand colligative properties one by one. Now let us understand regarding Tyndall effect. Tyndall effect is one of the colligative property of colloidal solutions. So here let us consider one beaker. In this beaker, let me consider colloidal solution. When you consider this colloidal solution, you are going to pass the light from this range. You will be passing light from the left hand side. When you pass the light here, scattering of light is going to happen. Scattering of light is going to be seen. So how does it is seen? When you see the light passed from here, exactly opposite side, light is passing this side, you are seeing the solution from this side. If you see from the opposite side, clear and transparent colloidal solution will be seen. If you see opposite side, this solution is clear and transparent. But if you see the colloidal solution from upper part of the weaker, then dark colored path of beam is illuminating. Dark colored path of beam is illuminating. I have shown here. Illumination of light will be seen in the form of cone. Illumination is seen in the form of cone. So the reason why it is called as Tyndall cone. It is called as Tyndall cone. So this effect of dual nature of light, once opposite side if you see, you will not observe anything, solution will be very clear. But if you see from the top of the beaker, dark colored path of beam is illuminated in the form of cone, and that is called as Tyndall cone. And this whole effect is called as Tyndall effect, which was explained by the scientist Tyndall, so it is named as Tyndall effect. This dual effect of different observation is Tyndall effect, and the shape of the light is called as Tyndall cone. Scattering of light by colloidal particles is itself is known as Tyndall effect. You can see in the cinema hall you might have gone there, light is going to be passed from theater, that is screen, to yourself, so that you can see the scattering of light, that is you can see the screen completely. Cinema hall will be the example we can quote here. Now we have certain conditions for Tyndall effect to occur. What are those conditions? So when you have diameter of the particle 1 to 1000 nanometer, then the wavelength which is considered to be must match to each other. Diameter as well as wavelength should match of a colloidal solution. What is the diameter? It should be 1 to 1000 nanometer. What should be the wavelength? It should match to that particles. Then only when they approximately both must be on the same range, wavelength range and diameter of a particle must match to each other, then only we can see the Tyndall effect in colloidal solution. Then next we have here Brougherian movement. Brougherian movement is nothing but it is very simple. Zigzag type of motion of colloidal particles in the dispersion medium. See here, initially we will be having one container. In this container, particles will start moving and they will collide each other. There will be collisions from these colloidal particles. So this is first particle moves here and it moves here, then it goes like this in a zigzag fashion. They will be moving in a dispersion medium, and this was first observed by scientist Brown. So it is called as Brougherian movement. Brougherian movement is nothing but zigzag motion of colloidal particles in dispersion medium. Now need to understand regarding movement of these colloidal particles. See here I have mentioned dispersion phase. Here I have taken dispersion medium. There must be certain conditions to this Broveian movement we need. What are those? First one is dispersed phase. Size. Size in the sense particle size or solute size. Smaller the particles we have taken, more will be the motion. Then dispersion medium viscosity. Viscosity high, Broveian moment is low. You can quote the example of water and honey. When you consider water, you can easily swim in the water. That is, you can consider water has low viscosity. If you consider honey, honey has high viscosity. You cannot easily move in that one. Then the whole colloidal solution will be very thick. The particles cannot move very easily as they move in water. So viscosity, if it is increasing, Broveian movement is going to be decreased. In size, higher particles or big size particles cannot easily move. Smaller particles can be easily moving. Smaller particles will have more motion, that is more Broveian movement is seen. If you consider stability, stability of particles which show Broveian movement. If colloidal solution more Broveian movement, more will be the stability. See here, as I told you, particles will start moving. If high viscosity, a high size is there, they cannot be easily moving. If smaller particles, low viscous dispersion medium is there, they can easily move, they can easily rotating. They will come and attach, or they come and dash to one at particle to the second particle and so on, and they will start go on moving here. They will be always moving in a dispersion medium. Higher the movement in the dispersion medium, more will be the Broveian movement, and higher the movement, more will be the stability of that one. More stability because more movement loses energy. Particles will be losing their energy. When particles losing their energy, they will become more stable. So Broveian movement to be happen, we should have smaller particles and low viscous dispersion medium, and higher must be the movement of particles, then more will be the stability of those Broveian movement particles. If you consider regarding charge on colloidal solutions, generally colloidal particles are having charge, they have charge, and due to heavy charge in colloidal particles, it is possible that they can sink inside the solution. They go and settle at the bottom. And these factors, if you consider for the Broveian movement, these colloidal particles which are heavy in charge should not go and settle at the bottom. They must always be rotating in nature in the dispersion medium. Then only they will be showing certain stability. So we will see how does a charge is going to affect on Broveian movement. So let us understand charge on colloidal solutions. So in this case, if you have colloidal solution, particles with positive charge as well as particle with negative charge. Only if you consider positively charged colloidal particles, they will be repelling each other. Along with these positively charged particles, we also have negatively charged particles. See here, I have written negatively charged particles repel each other, hence they undergo Broveian movement. When you have positive and negative both the charged particles in a dispersion medium, then due to repulsion and presence of negative charge will equilibrate the positive charge and negative charge, so they will show higher movement. So both the charged particles, if they are present, negatively charged, positively charged, they repel each other, hence higher will be the Broveian movement can be seen. We have certain examples here based on charge of colloidal particles. We have certain positively charged colloidal particles and we have certain negatively charged particles. Positively charged, if you consider, we have examples here: hydrated metal oxides, Al2O3xH2O, Fe2O3xH2O, CrO3xH2O. These are said to be positively charged. But the thing is, if you consider metals like copper, gold, and silver, they are negatively charged in nature. Likewise, we have certain basic dyes. Basic dyes like methylene blue are said to be positively charged. Blood is also positively charged colloid. Oxides of titanium oxide also positively charged. And here I have acidic dyes like eosin, Congo red are said to be negatively charged. Starch, gum, clay, gelatin, charcoal all are said to be negatively charged. Sulfides As2S3, calcium sulfide, and Sp2S3 all are said to be negatively charged colloids. This column what I have given here, positively charged and negatively charged, it is said to be most important for your competitive exam. They will go for asking in detail regarding these examples. They will give you certain options and they will ask identify the positively charged colloidal particles and identify negatively charged colloidal particles. Do remember these columns, these are said to be most important. So I will give you one hint here: hydrated metal oxides are bigger size than the metals, so positively charged. Al2S3, whatever these are simple metals we have here. These are metal oxides, as well as we have Al2O3 hydrated. If it is there, then it is positively charged. And basic dyes, blue, oxides of titanium, both are Bb. Whenever the examples start from B, they all are positively charged. I'm telling this in detail to remember is because these two columns are most important for your competitive exam. There will be a charges on colloidal particles we have discussed. Now, what are the reason for that charge on a colloidal particles? It is mainly because electron capture. Whenever colloidal particles are present in the dispersion medium, they will be capturing the electron in the electric dispersion method. We have provided electrodialysis process. They carry the charge. Colloidal solutions carry the charge in presence of electricity. Due to that charge present on colloidal solutions, there will be a preferential adsorption of ions is going to take place. We need to understand what is this preferential adsorption of ions of colloidal particles. Let us understand that. Now with this diagram I have given here, we can clearly and easily understand what you mean by preferential adsorption. Let us consider aqueous silver nitrate solution in one test tube. In another beaker, let us consider